Well, welcome to a short video on how to use Minos.
Okay, right, so the program's loaded up and we're going to create a new contest. So we create a contest. You should make sure that you're using the most up-to-date calendar, and you would do that by downloading the latest calendar by clicking this button. But obviously to do that you need to be connected to the internet. So obviously for today this is already up to date enough to display today's contest, which happens to be the 2 metre UKAC. So we're going to select that contest there. We then need to set up the station. Now this has never been used before, this particular piece of software on this computer, so we need to start from scratch. So we'll click new setting. For the sake of this we will use, if you don't mind, Charles's call sign.
SZ.
Okay.
Yep.
And we'll set it up for the transmit power, which, as we've always done up to now, is going to start with 10 watts.
Because we're in the AL section. Yep.
Absolutely. Right, the transmitter that you'll be using will be the same as the Shack's radio,
it will be.
Which we'll put in as a TS 2000X.
Correct.
Capital X. Right, you can, to make life easier, copy and paste.
Yep.
If you've got nimble fingers. And for this contest obviously we're going to use the Shack's 12 element beam, but obviously that would have to suit whatever you're using.
Yep.
Okay, this is the height of the antenna above ground level that we're putting in next. So just as an example, we'll say 20 meters. Right, the next line is the bearing offset for the antenna, which is basically the start point or the error from your bearing that you would start off from. We would normally leave that at 0 because we'll calculate that ourselves later. Right, that concludes that setting. That will now store that for future use, and as you can see it populates the station box. We then need to select the entry, and as this again is new, we're going to create a new setting. Same again, you can put whatever you like in this box, and obviously as you get more comfortable with the software you can customize it for several different types of setup. So we need to populate the first box, the call used, and on behalf of our club, which of course is the Redhurst receiving and transmitting society.
And that needs to go in full?
Well, you could just put bracts.
But that's what you would prefer.
If you put that, then there's no argument.
Yeah.
And obviously that's easy to see. So then we put your name in, the name of the person who is in charge of the station. And then obviously their own call. Obviously that doesn't need to be the station call, it needs to be your own personal call, which does happen to be the same on this situation. Right, for the next step obviously we're going to put in an address,
which we'll make fictitious for the purpose of YouTube.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So 1 New Road Avenue.
1 New Road.
Yeah.
Avenue.
Any
Gillingham.
town. Or any town.
Any town.
Country.
Yeah, obviously.
UK.
Well, you can put England.
Oh, you can. Okay.
You know. I think this is
PO1.
PO1
space for TY, which is totally fictitious.
Absolutely. And then if you feel the need, you can put your phone number in there.
And email.
And obviously an email. So the obvious choice is me@me.u.
Very good. But you put in a real one, of course.
Of course.
Yep. And what did you do then? You clicked OK.
And then I clicked OK. Sorry,
Yep.
that was quite quick.
Yeah, okay.
So then obviously you need to input the QTH. Again, it's a new setting. So we're going to use G4VSZ again. And we're going to put in a locator. For the argument of here, obviously it needs to be a 6-digit locator. So we're going to put 00.
Okay.
TY.
Yeah.
Okay, that's made up, of course. It would be specific to where you are.
Yeah.
District, we're going to call it, can be Medway. And the location, which again, you know, behind the pub or wherever you are. Station QTH, again, it's the address of where you are, which obviously can be anything you like.
Yeah.
Okay, and then obviously that location's height above sea level.
Sea level, yes.
So we just say 60, just for argument's sake. Then you OK that. Right, they're now set in there.
So if you needed to change any of those because you've made a mistake, you can go to edit.
Any single one of them,
Anytime.
you can click edit again. Good. You can create a new setting.
Yeah.
You can copy that setting and change it slightly.
Yeah.
Using the buttons at the bottom here.
Okay.
Okay, and if obviously you don't like any of the settings, you can also delete them.
Yeah.
Right, so now, as we've selected from the up-to-date calendar,
Yep.
it auto fills these boxes.
All right.
Okay, and the power and the main operator, and the start time and all the really relevant information. The only thing it doesn't fill is the section we're going to operate, and as you quite rightly said, it's the AL section because we're only using 10 watts.
Yep.
You need to refer to obviously the RSGB CC rules as to which section is okay to operate in. Right, okay, now we've selected all those details, what we're going to do is we now need to OK all those settings so that they can be...
You don't have to do any of this one then at all?
No, these are for obviously for different types of contests, depending on the contest. Some contests ask for an exchange. This is normally a postcode.
Yeah.
You'd put a 2-digit postcode in there, and that would come up with the
So
exchange.
we're just okay to do...
For a UKC, this is the minimum requirement for a log entry.
Good.
So it doesn't like that locator, which is typical. So we're going to make it something else and see if it accepts it. It probably won't. There we go, it did. So we made that something, it accepted it, and what we're now going to do is we're going to actually save the file somewhere where you know where to find it again. Just for this demonstration, obviously it's in the OneDrive documents. So we click open, and open allows it to save the information into that file. That now allows you to start making contacts. Now, to make best use of this, there's a pull out for the side here. It's a very thin bar, but if you click on it...
How did you bring that out?
It's this bar here. If you click on that bar there, you highlight it, click on it, it now pops out. That gives you an idea of all the locators that you've worked during the contest, and they all appear there. It also gives you other information such as the country codes, the districts, the statistics of the contest so far, and any errors that might have popped up and their classification. So we'll leave it on locators, as locators is most useful. There's also another pull out at the bottom here. If you click on that, that will show you any history that you may have had of previous contests. Obviously, if the rules allow you to do so, you can make use of that function. So when we're starting to enter into this, we would click in the F1 box. Now these are assigned F keys, function keys, and you can toggle between each of these using either the F keys, the tab button, or the mouse to select either box. So just for the first one, just as an example, we'll use Charles's call again. and we'll give him a 5.9, and we'll say he's number 1, 5.9 back to us, and then obviously he gives us 001 and his locator, which just happens to be by chance the same as ours, so we won't get too many points for that exchange. But there you go, there it is. They give you 1 point just for the effort. So that's obviously there. Obviously, as you can see, the contest hasn't actually started yet, so we may not be able to actually export this, but we'll give it a go. So say this is the end of the contest. You would select the produce entry export file. You'd then click on that. That will then give you all the information that you've put in so far. You need to check that those details are correct. You then need to make sure that the Reg 1 test is selected up here. It normally is by default, but you need to make sure that is the correct one. So now you click OK to accept that. That then asks you to save another file, which is an extension EDI file. That is the file that the RSGB CC accepts for upload. So you now need to save that file somewhere where you can find it again. So we'll save it where we saved the Minos file, and those two files are done. So that is now, we've done the contest, we've got our results, you've now got an exportable file, or a file that can be uploaded to the RSGB CC. So you can either minimize or close the program. We'll minimize the program. We'll then go obviously bring up a web page. For the sake of this, obviously we're not on the internet, so I don't know, we can't actually go any further with this, but what you would do is you would load up a Google Chrome page. You would then use the Google, you would then go to RSGB, www.rsgbcc.org, where you will actually see the RSGB CC page. Obviously we're not connected to the internet, but then you would get the opportunity to VHF log upload, for which you then select the file. It will give you a box which would allow you to select the file, as we found before. You then obviously, it will give you the option
EDI
to
file,
upload an EDI file. That's right. So that is the file you would upload. And then obviously once that's uploaded, you then follow the on-screen prompts. Make sure you submit your log, and obviously make sure that it's been received and is error-free. Right, that concludes this presentation.